folks. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. I'm very jealous of all the salt and vinegar crisps that are being eaten by chat. So jealous right now. If you could just put some in a envelope. No, don't. Don't.
No, don't do that.
Don't send any crisps anywhere. No, eat them all yourselves. Before the break, we had a great chat with Ben from Garbard Games, but now joining us all the way from the other side of the globe is Aiden from Box Dungeon. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. It's quite late where you are right now, isn't it? In the evening?
Yeah, it's about 9 p.m. here. It's something past 9.
Gosh, it's just
excellent.
Bonkers how we can just connect with folks all over the place these days and just be like, yeah, I'm just chatting with somebody in a completely different side of the planet. No biggie.
Yeah, it really opened up a lot of things, like being able to just work with people from anywhere in the world if you want to.
Which is amazing. You just have to realize that. So for us it's lunchtime, and for you it's like late night TV, which is amazing. You know, different vibe. I like it. Great.
It's fabulous. So you've launched a game on Kickstarter right now, yeah. And before we dive into exactly what's in that very, very cute little looking box, how did you get to a point where you're like, no, this is going to be brilliant, we're going to launch a game?
Well, it was kind of it was a long time in the making, because I've been working on this game for I think it's coming up to 3 years now.
Wow.
Just designing it and just trying to get it as minimalized as possible, because when I started, it was kind of out of spite.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were playing Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder to be exact, and I was so annoyed that it's so hard to get people into it because there's so many numbers, and the initial impression is just, you have to be a math wizard just to know what you're doing. So I decided to just do. I have a design diploma lying around, and I thought I should get my money's worth.
Oh, excellent. So
awesome. That's a brilliant reason.
So you wanted to kind of change the barrier of it, change the way people could get involved, rather than the maths, which some folk might not be. That was the sticking point, and you chose to design something that dropped that barrier to beginning.
Yes. This because I in my line of in my real life, I work with a lot of people who have mental health issues, and they can be a little slower to learn these kind of things, and the numbers are very overwhelming for them. And I also find that a lot of newcomers to board games in general just sometimes can't take this influx of information. So we try to go minimalism and just remove all the noise and focus on what's needed to actually play a standard tabletop RPG. And if they wanted to carry on, they can do so, you know, with D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu.
All right, excellent. So you decided to put your diploma into action. Has it changed much? Did you, from those initial ideas 3 years ago to what we have on Kickstarter right now, has it evolved much and changed, or did you get like the key things still there?
The key idea was still there, which was we wanted to keep the extensive customizability of tabletop RPGs, but the design has come a long way. Like the actual card design, there used to be twice as much information, which was already lesser than the 4 times as much information you get on a tabletop RPG character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So streamlined it down through your play testing and your design process.
Yeah, took about 2 years to get it to just the size I want. Well, not the size I want, the best size I could get. The size I want would be incredibly small, but that's not possible.
You'd go smaller if you could. You'd get it more.
Yeah, my initial goal was to get I don't have an example, but it would be a box about you could clasp both your hands and it would be in that box. That was my
Wow.
initial design, but we found that some components just have to be there, like the dice, the little miniatures, which in our case is meeples, which we designed to be little cutesy little things.
Okay.
They're very cool actually. I've seen a little video of the playthrough and things, and if you look on the website, they've got actual teeny weeny meeples, and there's a dragon meeple, like a wizard or a necromancer meeple. Is that right? And
Yeah,
yeah,
I
there
Oh,
we
also
you've
go.
put
got
them
them
here. Yeah,
there. Oh, look.
It's
yeah,
fantastic.
it, um, it's the whole minimalism thing. We took like the image of the characters on the cards, and
Yeah.
we just gave them a little I can't remember, the word slips me, but we just vectorized them and gave them into a meeple shape.
Oh, so they're not like generic ones. They're actually like, I guess we can.
Yeah, so if you pick up the equivalent card in the game, you will have the equivalent monster from the cards actual on the actual meeples themselves.
Awesome.
That's
Very,
pretty.
very cool. So you're playing with both a character sheet and also miniatures after a fashion.
Yes,
That's very
the
cool.
the character sheet is also one of those things that we wanted to really boil down to the most basic of itself. So the character sheet right now is basically cards. Your entire character can be built with 5, 6 cards if you want, and there's
That's
a
tremendous.
yeah, you can be almost anything that you would generally want to be in a tabletop RPG game. You can be a paladin by just swapping out some of the abilities. You can be an archer just by swapping out the weapons. Yeah.
So that's interesting because as you're changing cards and as you're making the character your own, you're still telling the story. You're just not doing it with giant, manuals worth of information and things. You can do it very simply. I think that's wonderful because it's very much the taster of what role playing is and what a role playing game is. Because you're right, trying to explain it to someone who's never seen it before or never heard of it, they just like I have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, like if you explain AC to someone, they would think it's a band, probably.
Yes, yes. We had this morning. We were talking about a thing, and someone looked up RPG. It comes up with rocket propelled grenades, which, whilst you might feel the need for sometimes in frustration, it's not what we need. No.
I've ever given my players in my own D&D group a rocket propelled grenade before.
Nice.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether that's a kind DM thing to do or a cruel DM, and it might be a bit of both, right?
They killed themselves.
Oh yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
there we go. That's answered that question. Excellent. I approve of this message. So the design goal was to get all of the feel of a giant tabletop RPG, but bring it down to like a smaller, easily accessible game, but still like retain the sort of key feelings, like customization and big bad monsters and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's more or less it. We had the rulebook, because I'm a writer by trade, and I specialize in something called like technical writing, where we really learn about the writing style and just go into it. So I studied up on how rulebooks are written and what makes a good game rulebook, and we took the whole 3-hour rulebook reading experience, and
Yep.
what I did was put it into like 8 pages of little A6 size papers, and that's all you need to learn the learn box dungeon. And from there you can take the game and move on to actual this is an actual tabletop RPG, other tabletop RPGs.
Yes,
So
that's very cool.
does box dungeon, because with the meeples and the cards and that kind of thing, it looks very much like a board game. Do you still need a dungeon master to play? You still have that dynamic?
Originally, yes, you have to have a dungeon master to play. But throughout, because this is the second launch of the campaign, I failed very miserably the first time. But this is people were asking, is there a manner to automate the monsters? Because the dungeon master is really there to tell the story of events and move the monsters to give you the challenge. And if you ever played chess with yourself, it's nearly impossible to fight yourself and make it
Yes.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
So originally there wasn't going to be a this single player mode or non DM mode, but very recently the idea struck me, and yeah, now we have a single player non DM mode available for play.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty. It's good to kind of be able to adapt and listen to what your backers are saying. Listen to what folks who are enjoying the game saying. Like, we'd get more out of this. Help us love your game more, and have a way to do that with them.
Yeah, I want to. I love the people who actually um, help to back this game from the first round. A lot of the people who backed the first time round came back to back the second time round, because that's the support you get from communities like these, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah. So just taking a look with the folks at home at the Kickstarter page, you've got so many cute looking cards and designs. I love with just the little tiles that you can make the dungeon map out of. Like, how many different bits of dungeon and all kinds of stuff? What went in there?
There's 48 individual map cards.
Okay.
And they're all unique. So you'll never get the same dungeon twice in a game. There are, I think, 60 cards that you can use to either fight, equip, or encounter.
Wow.
And yeah, just through that alone, you have a countless combinations.
So it's a huge variation both on what you can do for your characters and the world that you can explore in your little dungeon. So that's tremendous. That show us the size of the box again.
Oh, yeah, check it out.
So,
it's about this big.
Ah, excellent. I love that it's a treasure chest. I hadn't spotted that before.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, the artist decided it would look good as a treasure chest because
yeah, wicked design.
But it slides out from the side,
yes,
which is a thing that treasure chest doesn't do. But that's fine.
Unless it's a secret. It's clearly a secret treasure chest designed for a thief or a rogue. That'd be much better.
There's like a slight story within the game. Like all D&D games, you want the dungeon master to expand on his own. So the slight story in this game is that you're a party of adventurers, and the king game master, he asked you to rid the dungeon of evil, and in the story he gives you a chest filled with equipment, which is the chest of the game. And I think I wrote that he said, I have no idea why we made the chest to slide out, but that's how it is. So it's just a little writing.
Just in there, just a nod and a wink. Just a little like, okay, cool.
I like it.
So that was it. So there's almost like a campaign, like a starting story for you to build on.
Yeah, it's a very, very simple starting story. Just a building block. You're going to a dungeon to fight the big bad monsters. You want to win loot and just, come home. And it's up to the dungeon master to, if they want to, bring more of the story to life. I understand that most people aren't very keen about storytelling in this kind of sense. So it's entirely optional. If you are drawn to it, there are little guides on the rule books that will help you expand on events. Like you can draw an encounter card and it will tell you what to say. A trap card will appear, and it's like as you step through the door, you hear a click behind you and arrows fly towards your face, just to help them get their first step into actual dungeon mastering.
Oh, that's the thing. So we've kind of been talking about this as a way for players to get involved and learn about RPGs, but there's also support or a way for you to sort of test being a dungeon master, because it's a big scary thing to some folks to take the reins of everybody's fun at the table is in charge of, and you're in charge of it. Don't mess up.
Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah, bye. Like.
It's like, here's a character that you put so much love and effort into it, and I have to not break it, or at least break it tenderly.
Yes.
Yes, with dramatic license. Yeah.
Preferably with a rocket launcher, yes.
Yep. Oh, clearly.
So Box Dungeon kind of gives you those steps to becoming a GM, and in the same way introduces the players to the character sheets and that kind of stuff. You've got things you were mentioning there, like random events, which in other games you would roll dice. Here we've got a nice card. Everything's all there, so you're not flipping through different books, and you've got a little bit of like the arrows fly towards the player's face, and then nice bit of art to kind of help you get in the mood.
Yeah, the art was stroke of luck, basically. The artist Louis Cheng, she draws these really cute are they comics now? Like she draws these really cute character called the Cheap Chips on Twitter, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, before I found her, I actually went through 7 different artists.
Wow.
Right. I have really bad luck with artists. It's a running gag in my life. When I found her, I said I want a game that's the game I'm trying to create is it's for everyone. Everyone should be able to pick it up, and who wants to go into RPGs, they can pick it up and try it. So it cannot have that the fantasy artwork style, because those are very specific. Like if you have a elven warrior just standing there going like this, some people might not be able to get into it. Yeah. So there are no hero cards. Your hero is built by you, so you are the hero.
Yeah.
You just pick up the weapon, you go, and that's you. You're the guy. You're that guy. You make it up as you go along. So the art really helps to sell that, I think. It has a little bit of a retro chibi feel to it, so kind of a mix of all.
Even the Soul Eater does not
and
look that
chibis
evil.
Wait until you fight it, I guess.
So
I know.
That was my thought. Yeah. If this so when this does well, what you need to do is make a whole bunch of soft toys in the chibi style for your game. I think that would be wonderful. This is my little Soul Eater. It's gonna eat your face.
Yeah, that's actually not
but
bad.
it is that design. Yeah. That design, you're right. It's again, this is another thing that's so accessible and invitational about your game, is the fact that you're making it your own. Not having characters means, oh well, I don't have to look like this. I can look and be what I want, and these are all the cool things I can use, and that's very accessible. So I think this would be a really good game to get kids into the role playing as well.
Yeah, we actually have a couple of kids who played this. I think the youngest is 7. And they could get into it, especially kids whose family enjoys board games already. They have a tendency to already understand how games like this works. They could. It's a nice little entry straight into the tabletop RPG genre.
That's really cool. And there's a lot of things.
That's
like
very cool.
My son, when we try and play RPGs with him, he likes to fiddle with things, which can not always be very good when all you've got is a character sheet. And that, so with the cards and then the extra things you can look through, all the stuff you've got, you can put. And there's a lot to keep them engaged with what's going on, rather than off a bit.
Yeah. uh, I think the fiddly bits was kind of an accident. But I did like how it ended up feeling, because there's so many little tiny things that like the dice by itself is already one thing, but you know the meeples turn out way better than I expected, which was great.
Yeah, they look really cool. I found your pictures. There's so many wonderful pictures you shared with us behind the scenes. It's hard to choose some of the ones to share with folks at home. But yeah, the meeples, you can see there's like wolves and snakes and dragons and all kinds of stuff. And then you've got your bright heroes with the sword on their back, kind of. But they're like you said, really sort of a placeholder for you. Somebody can make it themselves and take that off into the dungeon to fight the baddies. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, the meeples
So
was
this is
actually,
terrific. How long does it take to learn?
it takes about 15
Sorry,
minutes.
I'm
Yeah,
lagging.
it's
I
fine.
apologize sincerely.
Yeah, that's the world we live in now. It takes about 15 minutes to read the rulebook, and maybe 20 to 30 minutes to actually get the game. We designed the game. I designed the game to be like a learn as you play. So you set up the board. As you're reading the rulebook, you do each action one by one, and you'll get the hang of it just by going through the motions. Most of the time when I'm teaching the game, that's how I would do it at least, and people get it within 15 minutes, 10 minutes. I think the hard part is just reading
Nice.
the book, which is about 8 A6 pages. Is not that much, to be honest.
No,
Yeah.
a nice condensed rulebook is a blessing, rather than everything that you then might have to flick through one thing and flick. Like, oh, we can see some of my rulebooks here, the giant things of
Yeah.
tomes of everything. But to see that it's just a short kind of intro is great. Did you how did you said you do technical writing? Was it hard? Because this is your baby. This is your rule book. Was it hard to kind of go, no, I don't need that. I don't need that line there. Kind of go through it.
It wasn't that hard, because when I set out, the challenge was to take away as many things as possible to make it as streamlined as possible. And one of my rules was don't treat the audience like children.
Mhm.
Assume that they can understand, that they can read, and you don't have to explain every single thing to them over and over again. So that really helped cut down on the fluff.
Mhm.
Because one of the things I learned from studying rule books is that a good one never repeats itself too many times.
Mhm.
A bad one will constantly tell you what
Mhm.
you're doing, because
Yeah.
it can't get you to remember the previous step.
That's very good. Good. Just in design in general is a very nice, succinct way of putting it.
Yes.
There. Don't repeat yourself when you don't need to.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
But the original rulebooks, this version that the one that we have up is, I think, was finished last November, about 3 months after the previous Kickstarter.
Okay.
But the previous version was
Ah.
really bulky compared to this. It's still small compared to the current one, to most normal rulebooks, but it was still quite bad by my arbitrary standard.
I mean, that's the hardest standard, isn't it? To please
That's-
yourself and have yourself kind of, no, this is as good as I can do it. This, because you're always
Yeah,
like,
you always think that, oh, that there's more that I can, there's a little bit better, but then you have to set a limit for yourself to know when to stop, when it's just enough
Yes.
to do it.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
if I had my way, every single card in here would be unique, and there wouldn't be no repeats. But I would be broke by then. So
They're buying hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah,
cards.
but you actually have to release the game.
yeah.
So do you have folks that you playtest with and folks that have helped you design this that are like, Aiden, that's good. Aiden, let's print that.
Yeah.
There has been people who played it who wants to get it so that they can. A lot of them wants to get it to introduce their family members to D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Newcomers, they usually pick it up, they learn it, and then they want to play more of the other RPGs. It's kind of in a weird place because it means that it's this thing that people pick up as a it's like a rest stop. You go in to wash up to get clear of all the mess, and then carry on with your journey, and whenever you get tired of it you can come back again. I think that's charming in its way.
Yeah, and it's also the
and also it means that you are a gateway. I say you're also the gateway game for any RPG.
Yeah, so like, if you are looking for a way to go in, this is a pretty decent way, I would think. I the group I've tested a lot with is my own D&D group, and they have been tremendously helpful as well. So just a shout out to them, I guess.
Shout out to the D&D group that made Buck's Dungeon happen.
Yeah,
awesome.
Oh, I love it. It's also like one thing that strikes me is the size of the box is so small. Like when I didn't just sit here and Zoom and play all my RPGs, I have a very large, which is my backpack that I take actually is from an army surplus shop. Like I have an army surplus backpack that I cram with books and minis and dice boxes and all that kind of stuff. And then you're holding up like this cute, and I'm like, well, that's a revelation.
I think that was one of the points of frustration for me when I was getting into it, because I had a very weird way of getting into D&D. I started out as a dungeon master with my own rulebook for my very first game. It's a really, really hard entry. And I found like, wow, everything is so expensive. Just getting the rulebook cost me an arm and a leg, and I couldn't even get that until like 3 weeks in. So it's just, I thought there has to be a way to make this more accessible, because people love minis, but they can't afford it. They can't carry it around. They're fragile, so that's how the meeples came around. People like the rulebook, but they're thick, they're heavy, they're expensive, so I cut it down. There's a lot of these things, and when I saw a friend of mine go into his D&D session carrying a crate, and then he put it down, and then he said, "I'll be back. I got another crate in my car." This has to get smaller somehow.
Yeah,
that's amazing. It's a wonderfully portable game, and as such you can take it anywhere, and because it's so accessible you could take it to people who they might play board games now and then, but they might not play, let's call it, modern board games compared to classic or traditional. And now you're bringing in something where it's actually, this is a role-playing game, and here's how it works. It feels enough like a board game that people understand it and are familiar with it, but actually it's this big storytelling, personalization, making it your own. So I think it occupies a very interesting space in the market, definitely.
Yeah, I really hope it gets funded, because I haven't been able to find anything similar. Maybe I just haven't been looking hard enough. Maybe there's a lot of games that says they are entry, but they don't entirely hold the spirit of it. Not that they're bad games. I played quite a bit myself, and they have their own. I have my own love for them, but I always wonder if I was a new player, would this get me in? Or if I want a experience fully my own, if I want to tell the story, can this let me tell that story? And sometimes just I have to basically break the game apart with my house rule to make it happen, and just thought that's fine, but not effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Kickstarter is live right now. How many? What? Let's show the folks at home the start of this. So 12 days to go.
Yeah.
12 days to go, and we're seeing it in pounds because this is my Kickstarter account. How's the comments? How's the fans been going? They're loving it, telling you to make.
They're really interested in they're really interested. Basically, pretty much all the points you said. The meeples are cute. The size is small. I can't believe it. This is like a great way for me to get my kids into it. I always wanted to introduce my wife into D&D, but they could never get her in.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much what I was hoping for from the reactions. Yeah.
And what's the so when we fund in 12 days, what's the plan after that? What's the production kind of queue going to be, and that sort of stuff? Is it ready to go to the printers? Do we need to get a little bit more testing with anything? Tell us what's happening after that.
We're gonna most of the artwork's done already. I'll be tweaking it over the next week throughout the campaign as some suggestions come in, because as much as I think that it's ready, there's always going to be that last minute suggestion that might just spark, so I've been tweaking a little bit here and there, but by the time the campaign ends, within 2 weeks we'll probably send the design out to the printers to get a sample copy, as you always have to have a sample copy, otherwise the color might look weird. And after that, it's off to get it manufactured once we can guarantee the quality.
And on the Kickstarter page here, I can see you can already download the rulebook and check it out before anything, so you can see what's going to happen. And then you've got the single player rulebook option as well, so you can almost have a quick try before you back in the look through the rulebook.
We'll also be uploading a couple of videos we shot just randomly for fun. You'll have us going through the entire game.
Cool.
We might be doing a live video if we can figure out how technology works. So you guys can join us with it and tell us how you want us to play our characters if you want.
Oh, so folks could join in and see and say no, take the left door, take the left door and go down that corridor.
Yeah, more or less. We'll just post updates on our Kickstarter and our social media when we are able to figure out how to get it to work.
Yeah, it is a thing you need to have a play with first, and then you've got some stretch goals on here as well. So we've got by popular request. So you've had folks who are like, tell us what we'll do. Give us some stretch goals. We want some extra stuff.
Yeah, they wanted some extra stuff. It was originally incredibly difficult because the game is already so compact, and like, what else can you put into a box without just exploding it, and I didn't want to have something outside the box either. So the easiest way was to make these game modes. The design is probably gonna just be on pieces of cards the same size as the rest of them, and each game mode will consist of about 4 to 5 cards that will majorly change the gameplay, the way you play the game. It's just another like a minimalist design. I have it sketched out somewhere, but
no, it's cool. So there's Necromancer's Tower, Dragon's Vault Raid, and Immortal Dark Knight. They all sound so intriguing, but also slightly terrifying if you were a brand new character. Like, oh yeah, let's go to a Necromancer's Tower. Yeah. That's gonna end well.
Yeah.
It seems like a great idea, doesn't it, Mills? Let's do that.
Exactly what you want from an RPG.
Yeah, I love the idea of adventuring. I mean, you see with Game of Thrones and things on telly where you've got these big fantasy epics, but I would really love to have like a much more of a Guardians of the Galaxy feel for a fantasy film or TV thing. It's like, why don't we go and do this, guys? Like, are you nuts? That sounds insane. Like, oh, they might have stuff. Oh, I like stuff. Let's go and get this. Yeah, let's go and get the stuff. And it just suddenly is like, Oh yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this thing, you know. And I think that's lovely with this, is that you can have a play with it. So the reasons for you being there are your own, and you know, it's like, right, let's go and see if we can vanquish this dragon before lunch kind of thing. That kind of, and I really like that.
Like it,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's one of the things that we did a lot of theater of mind when we were playing D&D. For those, I'm sure everyone here is familiar, just a reminder. Theater of mind is when you try to imagine the situation.
Mm.
And one of the drawbacks of having beautiful artwork is that it locks you into that genre. So
Yes.
you can't go full ham if you have a beautiful, serious landscape of a dragon with a hero angrily trying to smite it.
Yes.
You just can't go full ham with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. Whereas if you've got like Kevin the Barbarian attempting to sneak around, it's a very different fish, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No, I like that.
That's cool. Oh, Medusa Games has just dropped in. Hi, Richard. How you doing? Can you still split the party in this game?
He always wants to split the party. Don't split the party. Seriously, boss, come on. Like, you're breaking my heart.
Not only can you split the party, that is part of the mechanics.
Oh,
But we
my
don't tell you
goodness.
that.
Oh,
Oh wow. So you
but
actually use tactics in this?
Yeah, so during the gameplay, we found out that because we were only allowed to summon the monsters on very specific cards that have these, I'm not sure if you can see this red circle here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
So what the players tend to do is they tend to stand on the red circle to prevent people from summoning monsters on it.
Okay.
But doing
Smart.
that means that they are literally splitting the party to different side of the map to stand on different circles.
I see.
So sometimes I would just I would just find another circle that is like just nice to cut them off, and then I'll block them from getting to help each other. So you end up splitting the party as well.
I mean, it's a classic thing in tabletop RPGs to have situations where you wanna, like, including that mechanic is also giving that gift to your players, because it wouldn't be a tabletop RPG if you didn't have these funny situations where you're like, oh no, and it's beautiful that you can still get that from such a lovely compact little cute box.
Yeah, it's I'm surprised how well it works. I don't believe I made it because I can't be that good. I'm terrible at my job. I have no idea how I did this.
No, this looks amazing, and your Kickstarter site is very, very good too. But yeah, I like the fact that so on this we can make characters how we want and make them unique to us. We can explore a bazillion different types of dungeon because of all the cards. We can actually split the party, which means that now we're also using tactics, and you know, if they're using tactics, that's way ahead of my Tuesday night D&D group. We do attempt to use tactics, and then the plan just goes to pieces. So, and we're just like, get them. And my Thursday group definitely don't use tactics, you know. So this is good. This is like a step beyond the actual D&D that we're playing, like wholesale. So, I'm going to go and back this project, aren't I?
Yeah.
Bother.
Okay. It's the downside of doing and meeting all these wonderful creators, Kate.
Yeah, no. It's like, I'm going to need to back this.
And I say downside with
money.
with a heavy. No, it's not a downside. It's awesome to meet everyone, and see all the different things. But no, I love I'm really like drawn in by how cute the box is. But the more I've got to talk to you about this, Aiden, the more I'm like, no, this sounds like a great little.
Yeah.
In between, even like me and Kate, obviously we talk about it quite a lot, how many different RPGs we play, and all the, like, Kate's talking about Tuesday night games and Thursday night games, and you know, Richard as the UKG dungeon master murderer extraordinaire, from what I've heard from Finney's playbacks, and so obviously and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, in between a campaign, so when we leave from one thing and everybody's dead and we're thinking about making this for a couple of nights would just be like Aiden was saying, like a palate cleanser or a reset of where we got. And so it's not just an intro. It's almost like a let's kind of bring it back and have a play. So it's there for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the idea behind it. We wanted it to be the experience that you can create yourself.
And it's so accessible. The fact that you're looking at it because you're working with people with learning disabilities, wasn't it? So designing something so that anyone can play, again, that's an absolutely wonderful place to start. And in doing so, you make it accessible to everybody, even if you haven't heard of like modern games of any sort. That's a really, really cool way of doing things. So that's good karma. I like that.
It is good karma.
Yeah.
So you're on Kickstarter right now. If you head over to kickstarter.com and put in Box Dungeon, it's the first thing that pops up, and you can see this wonderful meeple thumbnail for your video. You'll be on Kickstarter until when is it? 22nd of February. It ends 4 p.m. here in the UK.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
We might be getting an extension. We're not quite sure. It depends on how much money we have left in the budget.
Nice.
Because we're such a small team. So basically everything is coming out of our own pockets, and we're just trying to,
yeah, it's that whole first game.
Yeah, we're just really trying to pull it out from under the rug, and we're gonna see how far we can take it. We really hope it gets funded.
Yeah, 153 people already think it's awesome. I suspect there will be at least 2 more to bump that up to 155 by the time we've got to later on this afternoon. And Kate has been dropping in the Twitch chat. You've also got a Facebook page.
Yes, Box Dungeon. I think we managed to get the Box Dungeon name Facebook page and Instagram as well.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if folks have questions, because sometimes Kickstarter only lets you comment once you've backed. So if they have some questions they want to check out with you, or things they want to ask, they can head over to your Facebook page and just leave a comment or two, or catch you on Instagram with some cute photos, and find out a little bit more about yourself, the team behind Box Dungeon, and the wonderful world that you've created in this tiny, cute little treasure chest.
Yep, that's pretty much sum up everything. Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for staying up quite late. 9 o'clock is late for me. I am ready for bed by then these days. Everything is so tiring. And thank you very much for staying up and taking some time to chat through your Kickstarter and how the 3 years that it got to get there.
Yeah, it's been wild. Lots of things happened in 3 years.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
I just sit here a moment and think, yeah, lots has happened.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. The year, yeah. This is where I see, like, on the overlay we'll have little things pop up, like lots of scribbling, other things doing this, tearing stuff up, coming back on again.
The thought bubble coming out of me.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'll fix that in post. Excellent. Then, yeah. Fix that in post.
Absolutely.
We are back. Me and Kate are back next week.
Yes. Yes.
We have some more guests.
We do indeed. We'll be talking to Loki Battlemats and also somebody else who I have forgotten, which is daft.
It's okay. I had also forgotten too, but so I just dropped you in it then.
No. And I'm trying not to use any bandwidth to load the calendar because I've been lagging horribly. So I normally have everything open going, yeah, it's this. So,
but yeah,
it'll be fun. It'll be great to talk to you.
We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and here on the UK Games Expo Twitch. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Aiden. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want to find out the second guest of next week, come find Expo on all our social medias. We'll put a little card up at the end so you can find out. And if you didn't catch the links and the info that Aiden shared, they'll all be over on the UK Games Expo website shortly, won't they?
Yep. We'll put a thing up about there to say what's going on. That'd be awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, folks. Me and Kate are off to have some lunch. I think Aiden's possible. Are you going to have a nap? Going to go to bed? And as always, take care of each other.
Thank you very much. Bye. Folks. Bye.